Hello, everybody. We are live. Just having my green drink full of superfoods and really a lot of these powerful nutrients. Again, it's about preventative medicine and being proactive. Today, I would like to go over women's health. And as people are joining here, we're going to go over the most important root causes and how we go about it in functional medicine with Women's Health. This is Women's Health Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and welcoming everybody joining. What do we do here in functional medicine? What are some of these very important root causes? And what is not really being discussed are the amount of environmental toxins, for example, hair dyes and cosmetics that really do contribute to the detriment of a woman's health. And this is a very important subject to really talk about, is environmental toxins. Like we see in cosmetics, skincare is really one of the frequent places that we see women getting these kind of estrogen mimicking chemicals coming in through the skin. What we put on our skin really should be only what we can eat. And in other words, the chemicals that you read in the ingredient list should really be kinds of things that you recognize that technically we could eat, not these synthetic plastic type acrylics or nylon type of chemicals that have what's known as estrogen mimicking types of properties, which means they kind of mess with the communication, how our body communicates with each other, especially with hormones. So that is a really important part of this whole picture of women's health, is the chemicals in the environment. Are women being educated about plastics and using plastic, such as wrapping foods in plastic, heating food in a microwave with plastic, storing water in plastic bottles, especially under intense heat, using different cosmetics, again, certain chemicals act as estrogen mimickers. There's a website, ewg.org, that you can go on to see what are better cosmetics to choose to put on your skin. Some of the biggest contributors is, such as an example, black hair dye, underarm deodorants, and again, certain chemicals like parabens that really are detrimental to health. So that's the first subject in the first topic in women's health that is really important. So I'm looking at some of the comments here, and I'll answer some of those questions after we go through some of what I wanted to go over today. So part of what we do with women's health is really look at the gut. The gut is a big part of women's health. And why is that? Well, there is an enzyme known as beta glucuronidase, and we can measure that in a very advanced stool test. This enzyme is produced by having sufficient amount of beneficial bacteria, but when we see that it is high, as an example here, beta glucuronidase is high, then we know that that process that's known as glucuronidation, and I'll show it to you here on this very nice flow chart of the liver detoxification system. We see in phase 2 there's glucuronidation. That glucuronidation is how the body removes excess estrogen. Why does the body want to remove excess estrogen? Because again, there are these estrogen mimicking chemicals that we see in the environment through pesticides, through our drinking water, again, through plastics. That is something that needs to be removed, and we have at times excessive amounts of estrogen that needs to be gone through our phase 1, 2, and 3 of our liver detoxification system. And over here, phase 2, glucuronidation, is especially where estrogens are removed. And We can measure beta glucuronidase on a stool test that will really tie in liver and gut health together, because when that enzyme is high, it clues us in that the body is overworking at trying to eliminate those excessive estrogens. A very important step in really reaching a better state of wellness and health is looking at glucuronidation. That's phase 2 liver. That occurs in phase 2 liver detoxification. So thank you all for joining, and I will continue now on the next step of women's health, which is methylation, a really essential process that when we check homocysteine levels, and again, it's not just a matter of being within the range. There's an ideal number that we know homocysteine should be at, and when it's too high or too low, there is an issue with methylation. And as you see here, methylation really is responsible not only for detoxification, which is this cycle here, which eventually will produce glutathione with a couple of amino acids and acetylcysteine, selenium, a mineral. That's how glutathione, our major antioxidant, is made. But you see, if you measure homocysteine, then you can see how the body is methylating. This is a very important step in women's health. And by measuring certain markers, such as homocysteine, and knowing where that ideal number should be, we can really help to improve this process of methylation. And then we can understand what types of nutrients, what forms a woman might need. They might need methylated vitamins and nutrients, and not just the standard vitamins and nutrients that are in most supplements. And this is what's really important in women's health, to individualize the care and to really spend the time to really go over these processes of methylation through checking homocysteine, and again of glucuronidation, which occurs in the liver by checking gut health. Gut health on a very advanced GI stool test can tell you how the gut and the liver is working together to remove those extra excessive estrogens that over time, when they break down to the wrong type of estrogens, there's 3 types of estrogens, and there's metabolites from those estrogens that have negative effects. So not all estrogen is bad. It's those metabolites that are formed from the different types of estrogen, then that can have negative effects, and over time can cause cancer. And that is why it's so important to understand the metabolites of this hormone, of how the hormones break down. Some of those metabolites require methylation, and that's why that very important step of understanding methylation is important in achieving optimal women's health. But knowing these metabolites and whether a person is making the types of estrogen that we know are more cancer causing, we need to find that out so we can change that pathway through food as nutrition, through nutrients, through avoiding toxins. Then we can break down that estrogen into the beneficial types of estrogen, and that is key. So those are some essential steps in this Women's Health Month. Understanding the estrogen metabolites, making sure it's going into the good types of estrogen, not the detrimental kind that are cancer causing. Next, understanding liver detoxification, especially glucuronidation, and measuring beta glucuronidase, an enzyme in the gut that lets us know that the liver is working overtime trying to remove these excessive estrogens. And then finding out where these excessive estrogens are coming from. Are they coming from toxins in the environment like pesticides and certain chemicals that maybe are being put on through skincare or cosmetics? And then understanding methylation and improving that methylation process. And that can be measured through certain lab markers like homocysteine to really achieve optimal health. So these are some of the foundational ways to improve women's health that we work on here at South Florida Integrative Health Center. So if you have any questions, give us a call here. It's 305-799-1263. We are taking appointments. You can check out our website in the corner, that corner, and make an appointment that way. And if you have any other questions, put it in the comments, and please share if you feel other people can be helped by this information. This is Women's Health Month, and a lot of this information isn't getting out there. So that is why this is so important. Everyone have a healthy, happy day.